Hey guys, what's going on? It's Drang, and I want to talk about the Scrambler as the 1200 and the 900. Alright guys, so in the upcoming months you're going to see a lot of Triumph news from me and reviews about the Scramblers. As soon as the Scrambler 1200 comes in, I'm going to be covering that. Now I have ridden the Scrambler 900, the Street Scrambler, and I really liked it. So I thought I'd talk about, should you go ahead and bump up to the 1200, or should you, if you're looking into getting into the Scrambler segment, consider maybe the Street Scrambler 900. So first things first, I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube like everyone does, from the primary source review media, which I call access media. I mean, they get these bikes well in advance of me. I have no chance of reviewing something before they do because Triumph flies them to exotic locations to do it. That's normal for any bike company. I get it. I'm nothing. But my point is that the riders that I see in these videos are absolutely expert riders. I just watched a video on the 1200 and the guy was just railing it through the off-road trails, and he's popping wheelies and all this kind of stuff like that. That's all great and everything. My perspective coming to you guys has always been as a beginner to intermediate rider. You know, that's right where I put myself. I think most riders probably fall into that category. I'm not quite willing to do big wheelies on my very expensive bike. Now, if I had a cheap dirt bike, that'd be another thing. I used to do them on my KLR 650, for example. I won't be doing them on my Tiger 1200. So the point is, I don't know if I consider the reviews I'm seeing to be valuable in that regard from the perspective of an intermediate level rider. Now, of course, this is simply perspective and it's my personal opinion. You know, I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. So with that, let's look at these two bikes. Now, on the one hand, we've got our Street Scrambler, which doesn't sit particularly high, does have a fairly decent suspension that is upgradable. You can actually put the Olin suspension in the rear, the two shocks in the rear, and now the new 19 model of the Street Scrambler has cartridge front forks, which is really good for sort of constant chatter in the suspension. So with that said, you know, one thing I would ask myself is, am I really going to off-road this machine? Personally, if I bought the $15,000 to $16,000 XE model of the 1200, that's a lot of money to go trashing. So most likely I would be on the roads for that. I would probably hit some gravel or some light dirt. I certainly wouldn't be jumping it. If I had a Ford Raptor, I probably wouldn't be ramping that over skateboard jumps either, even though it's technically capable of it. You're gonna tear stuff up, is what I'm getting at. Any bike has things break off-road. Even if you're on a DRZ and you drop it funny, you could like damage your brake lever, your clutch lever, or the bars itself, or all kinds of stuff can go wrong. So, you know, you have to accept that when you're doing off-road. I did a trip on my Tiger 800 XC one time, and I went, you can see the video here, I went to the top of a pretty tall mountain around Reno, and it was absolutely nerve-wracking. I was going over babyhead gravel, the rocks about this big, and the bike, you know, it's going just crazy, which is, I'm not that experienced of a rider, so for me that was pretty exciting. I didn't drop the bike, but a couple of times there were some close calls, and I realized real quick, oh hey, I commute on this. I don't think that probably I should be doing too much more of this. Let's stick maybe to the trails or roads. So that said, I think the biggest part of this is these two bikes, the 900 and the 1200, are very different machines. The 900 to me strikes me as more of a commuter, in about town kind of thing. If you have to pop over a curb, no big deal. It can handle that awesome. It can even do off-road. That's fine. But the point is, it's kind of a little cramped, and maybe for the short distance stuff, it would be really great. What I'm seeing this 1200 is, it is so much taller, which is great for off-road, but I'm seeing that as more of a comfort thing for longer trips. Really, the 1200 to me, as you've seen in like Revzilla videos, they're calling it an adventure bike. It's just a naked adventure bike, and I think that's the popular perspective of what that bike's going to be. It's got a lot of other nice things. It's got the big TFT screen, that's got Google Maps turn-by-turn capability. You know, that's not on the 900. That's kind of a touring thing, let's be honest. So these are really not the same bike, if you ask me. There's some stylistic things that look the same. The pipes come out the same. It's got this really a similar stature. But if you put the two together, which we will be doing later on, you're going to see there's just like a huge difference in the size of these things, which is fine. And personally, if you said which bike would you take, and money is not a factor, I would take the 1200 in a heartbeat. Now, would I go for the big XE over the XC model? Yes, give me all the nice stuff. That's fine. I actually like tall bikes. Some people don't, some people do. At the end of this it's not to make up your mind for you. It's really to get you to think like, well, what are we doing with the bike? Am I riding around town? Am I doing short little rides here and there? Or do I want to take longer trips with a little more capability maybe than like a Tiger? Because let's be honest, I think that the XC model of the Scrambler is going to really be, it's going to destroy the Tigers. I think the Tigers are actually really capable off-road. But realistically, a professional rider, they could ride a Thunderbird off-road. You see these guys taking Harleys off jumps and stuff. So I think, when you see a video, like especially from Triumph with their sponsored rider, he's just going ape shit on the thing. I couldn't do that on any bike, so it doesn't really matter to me. But if I like the bike, if I like the performance, that's another thing. You're absolutely going to get more power, more pep out of the 1200. There's no question. It's a bigger engine. But I will say this, when I rode this bike last year, I found it to be really, really nice, and I liked the low-end grunt of that engine. So, what are you doing with it, I guess? Check out the video here, by the way. All right, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Enough ranting. So basically, I would say just look at them like different machines. That's really it. So what do you guys think anyways? Appreciate any new subs, and I hope to have lots more good riding content coming up with reviews and things like that. I'm going to be doing some more work to my Tiger. I'm going to be showing you, we're basically converting a Tiger 1200 XR to an XC. All right, guys, this is Drain. I'll catch you next time.